Hi guys, so welcome to the very first episode of Anto Adventures. So this January, I traveled back to South Africa, directly to Johannesburg. So it was pretty interesting because I have been in Johannesburg before, but that time I was locked in the house with 19 other people. So this time, I was actually gonna have a chance to actually go around and see some things. So why did I go back to Johannesburg? Last year, I did a video with the Mentally Aware Nigeria Initiative where I spoke about mental health in Nigeria. And ever since then, I've kind of been like a mental health advocate. So Manny actually linked me up with the United for Global Mental Health. It is a campaign that is trying to push a global mental health campaign. We know around the world, many people don't see mental health issues as real, but mental health is just as important as your physical health. So they actually flew people from different countries all over the world to Johannesburg to start this global mental health campaign. So that is why they sent me to Johannesburg. So of course I was excited because one, it was a free trip and your girl loves to travel. And two, it's about something that I'm slowly becoming more and more passionate about. So I was like, woohoo. So then they sent me the email of where I would actually be staying. And that's where I got into my feels. So the email said that we were staying at the Sierra Square Hotel. And that is where we actually stayed or camped before we got into the Big Brother house. So I was pretty emotional just about that, going back to exactly where I was before my whole new life started. And it was even creepier because the week of the trip was like the week that we entered the Big Brother house. So everything was just my feels. I was just all emotional. So I was really excited to go on the trip. So here we are, time for the trip. So I was ready. I got to the airport on time. I was sitting, I was waiting, and then they told us that there was like a 4-hour delay because of the rain, that the flight that was supposed to take us to Kenya, that would then take us to Johannesburg, was stuck in Ghana somewhere. So 4-hour delay. You can just imagine what a 4-hour delay in International is like. And then because of that 4-hour delay, I already knew that I would miss my connecting flight from Kenya to Johannesburg. So I was already like, this is annoying. So, but luckily as I was sitting there, it was pretty cool to talk to some people. We all complained about missing the flights. And then lots of people knew where I was. So there was lots of selfie taken and just, how was the house? How's life been outside the house? And I met this cute little lady. Her name is Sapna. She's Indian. She was actually going back to Mumbai with her family. And she just reminded me of my mom. She was extra bubbly, just talking to people. She just really didn't care. And she invited me and my family to Mumbai whenever I have a chance to come to India. So I'm definitely gonna hold her to that. When I'm ready, I'm coming through. So finally, we got on the flight and we get to Kenya. So of course, we get to Kenya and yes, all of us missed our connecting flights. So we had to go through the getting the new flight process and then the visa process to actually stay in Kenya. They actually got us a visa, which is pretty cheap, pretty quick, pretty easy. I don't really know how it works in Nigeria, but this was super fast. It was just like $20. But luckily for them, being that it was because of them that we missed the flight, they gave us the free visa. So a bunch of us, we went to a hotel in Kenya to just shower, sleep for a little bit. And it was pretty funny because as soon as we got there, we all went to go and eat. And I remember someone told me that food in Kenya isn't so cool. So I was like, okay, maybe it's just what someone likes. Maybe if I go there, I'll find something I enjoy. So when I got to the hotel, I saw some things were interesting, some things were okay. So I decided to try some things and I was like, this person was pretty right. It's like Kenyan food doesn't have pepper. So it's not so bad. I'm not like a pepper freak, but it would have been nice if some of the food had some extra flavor. So yeah, after a quick shower and a little nap, we got back onto the shuttle bus to get back to the airport. And yes, the smallness, the few things I saw in Nairobi were beautiful. The airport was amazing, clean, nicely organized, spacious. The town looked beautiful. They drive on the other side of the road, so that was interesting as well. But it was just really nice. The hotel itself was a budget hotel, but it was nice. It was pretty clean, and it just made me realize that Nairobi is definitely on my travel list as well. So finally, we make it to South Africa. Now we're just ready. I kind of remembered some of the stuff, but not really. So it was good to like be in a new place, even though I had been there already. So we got to Sierra Square Hotel, and then I'll be back to let you know all about the lecture, the seminar. So like I said, I went to Johannesburg for the United for Global Mental Health seminar on how to create a global mental health campaign, it's really important that we start focusing on mental health. Mental health is real, so this project was bringing people from different parts of the world to talk about their experiences, to see how we can unite to do something to change the world. So day one, it was basically an introduction of all the countries. There were about 15 countries. We had India, we had Nepal, we had Nigeria, we had Kenya, we had South Africa, Liberia, Ghana, people, the United States, the UK. So we had people from all over the world coming to talk about what they're doing in global mental health. Some people were survivors, some people were just advocates, some people were influencers, and some people actually ran healthcare organizations. So it was pretty interesting that even though we all lived in different parts of the world, we come from different backgrounds, religious backgrounds, different economic backgrounds, we all had this same passion, which is to push a global mental health campaign. So basically the idea was to get people to talk about their different experiences and seeing how you can create a national campaign that you can do in your country and link all those things together to also create a global campaign. So the global campaign would kind of launch, then everybody would do things in their country along lines with it. So it was a great experience. It's definitely awesome. So day two, that's when things got a little bit more interesting. So after we got more of the introductions and just what the campaign was about, we started to actually work and think of how we can actually create a campaign in our countries. So that's where we started being more open and being honest about the things that are happening in our countries, the laws that are on ground, the laws that aren't on ground, the people who might be in support of the project, and people who definitely won't be in support of the project. So trying to balance all those different factors to see how best to push this global project. And it's great just to see, we had people from the United Nations, people from World Health Organization. So it's definitely a global project. People are definitely interested in this. So it's pretty good to see that there's like minds, people who are willing to put their money where their mouth is. We had lots of the donors who actually brought their money together to help pay for flights and the hotels, and the seminar itself, they were also on ground. So it was great to meet those people and see that we all have this mission and it's just to get it together. So on day two was also when we had our late night dinner. So it's pretty interesting because I just already knew that when you bring a bunch of people of different backgrounds into a place that has one specific background, you'll see lots of interesting things. So first off, we drove through the beautiful, beautiful Johannesburg to see the site, just to see. It's like, guys, if you haven't been to Johannesburg, it's on another level. It is so beautiful, it is so clean, it's just amazing. And I noticed that people like to drive white cars there. Maybe because I also like white cars, but I noticed so many white cars in Johannesburg. So we pulled up to the restaurant, and it's called Moyo, and it's right next to a beautiful lake, so the ambiance itself is just very nice. And it's one of the go-to tourist attractions for when people come to Johannesburg. It's a melting pot of all the cultures. Of course, they have the tourist part where you can buy souvenirs and crafts and things like that. Then they treated us to, nice entertainment outside and inside while we were actually having our meals. It was pretty weird because the entertainment outside was just in the dark. I don't know if that was the vibe they were trying to give us, but I'm like, we can't really see these guys that are performing for us. But it was really nice. We went inside, we sat down, they gave us some live entertainment. Me, I'm all for entertainment, so it was pretty awesome. The food wasn't too bad. Some of it was actually pretty nice. There was this potato soup that you drink in a cup, really nice, really, tasty. There was the meat, you guys know I'm a foodie. So they gave us some lamb and some ribs that were just on point. So at least I can say my Kenyan food experience wasn't so great, but this real life South African food was really good because the food at the hotel is not so great. And it's funny because we used to mention that in the house, Big Brother house, that the food at the White House wasn't so great. So yes, a year later, the food at the White House still isn't so good, but the food at Moyo was on point. So then they brought in the live band that started to get people jiggy. And for some reason, people of different cultures just love to dance to music they don't know how to dance to. But it's nice, it's cool. It was a great environment to see everyone getting lit, dancing, having fun. Old, young, male, female, everyone was just having a really, really great time. So it was pretty interesting. It was an amazing experience for the dinner part, and then we all got to kind of chill and just go back to our rooms. So time for day three. Day three was the finale, and it's when we basically took all the ideas we had and decided how to create an action plan. So we decided that the Global Mental Health Campaign will kick off during the World Health Assembly, which is coming soon actually. So all the countries right now are actually working on their campaigns. So you'll probably be seeing that pretty soon. So keep a lookout for what's going on in the mental health world coming soon. So I had a few hours left, and there's no way I can go to a city and not try to do something touristy, just a little bit. So I actually was able to meet up with one of my fans. Her name is Tammy, and she's a makeup artist. So she did my makeup that day, and it was pretty cool because I actually went to her house. So just a nice environment. And we just talked about life, the difference between living in Nigeria and living in South Africa. Then of course also we talked about being a mom. She has kids, so it was good to kind of just talk to someone, talk about different things, talk about life, talk about just how things are going. So after that, I linked up with none other than Tayo Faniran from Big Brother Africa. He's one of my closest friends. Like, Tayo's just crazy. So I always know that when I go to SA, Tayo's like the first person I call. So that we linked up, and it's just so crazy that somehow he must have known that I wanted to start a travel vlog, because he actually brought a videographer along. So he actually took me to somewhere called Monte Casino. I really wanted to see other sites, but I only had maybe like 2 hours or so. So he said, okay, he was gonna take me to a place that people like to go to in South Africa, that he said the ceiling is like, it's daytime all the time. So it was pretty cool to go there. So the casino is like a big mall. The casino's dead center in the middle. Then they have a waterfall outside. They have an arcade. They have bowling. They have cinema. Almost anything you can imagine and you could want is inside of Monte Casino. So it's really nice to go there. So it's always weird when I go to different countries and people know who I am. Even though, yes, I know I was on the biggest entertainment platform in Africa, it's still weird when people say, oh my gosh, Anto, it's you. Hi, Anto. Oh my gosh, hi. So it was cool to see people who knew me, to take pictures and all those kind of things. So it was still pretty fun. So yes, Monte Casino was cool. I'd definitely love to go back and maybe play. Not really, I'm lying. So, I'm not a gambler. I can't take those kind of risks. So that was my fun night with Tayo at Monte Casino. And then it was on back to the airport. My flight was about like close to 1 a.m. So we all just took our load back to the airport, and back to Naija I came. Thank you for chilling with me. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and hopefully you stick around for the next one. Bye.